Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to have our very first Kicked Out of the Academy video. I guess I'm going to have to do this every now and then. Since I'm rereading all these old comics from my collection, some of these I haven't read since I was a teenager. Things that I thought, oh, I love that shit. I don't have to reread that. It's nice to reread comics, but there's also so many new comics to read. That's one of the nice things about this channel, starting this channel for me, is that it's kind of forced me to reread all these comics. Let's be honest, I probably never would have reread them. I'd probably die before I reread them. The way my reading habits are now and how little time I have to read. I still have a stack of comics I haven't even read. Giant stack of comics from the past year, but I've kind of haven't been able to read them because I'm always rereading all these older comics from my collection for the channel. But I've been surprised how few I've reread and been like, oh, why do I have this? That's probably because I've been weeding my comics continually since I was a kid. Like every year or so, I just, reread the whole shelf or something and be like, this isn't really that great. So pretty much everything I got in my collection is pretty choice. I don't save many things out of nostalgia. I do have a few, but they're all things that I genuinely enjoy, genuinely think are pretty fucking fun. And that's why I keep them. But some of these comics, I've had this comic, for example, since the early 90s. And I thought it was good enough to keep. And rereading it the past few days, I was like, these are really dumb. And, let's start. This is Electric Soup, a Scottish adult humor comic. This is, I believe, from like 92 or 93, sometime around then. I was working at a Chicago newsstand, and I used to get everything for free. Not technically, but my boss was a sadistic piece of shit. So I felt like I had the right to take anything I wanted for free. So I got a lot of crazy stuff at that newsstand. It was an amazing newsstand. They had shit from all over the world, newspapers from every city, even a porn section. They had paperback books. It was a great place to work, except for every day being harassed by my boss. But this is one of the comics I got during that period, Electric Soup. This is basically Scotland's answer to Viz. If you've ever read the funny humor magazine Viz, that's been going on. I think it only started a few years before this, because Viz started out pretty soon. It got very popular, huge circulation numbers. And so that's why magazines like this came out, trying to copy Viz's success. They didn't. I guess they did okay, but they only lasted to I think 18 issues or something, or 20 issues. And it is very much kind of trying to be like Viz, but it's different enough. It definitely less articles. And like Viz is basically, I love Viz. It's funny as hell. Really stupid humor. It's like total teenage boy idiotic humor, but it's funny. This one is that, but it's not that funny. It's just kind of like, God. But the reason why I probably kept this magazine was because this is Frank Quitely's first published comic work. Now known as the great superhero comic artist, Marvel, DC, tons of stuff. Batman, Superman. He's huge. He's one of the hottest artists in the world. But this was his start. He was just a young lad at an art school. And this cover's by him. Batman Retorts, because this was right around when Batman 2 came out, the Tim Burton one. And he's already amazing. He just came out of the gate running, Frank Quitely. So here's the movie parody, Batman Retorts. And I believe it's written and drawn by Frank Quitely. And every now and then there's a decent gag, but mostly these are just really bad puns, just stupid references to things that were popular at the time. Like this comic ends with Arnold showing up because the Terminator 2 had just come out. So but look how good Frank Quitely's art is. It's already there. Of course, it's more humorous than he ended up drawing, you know. He made it more serious for the superhero market. Capital Cabs, this was a running feature apparently. This artist named The Bob Man. And this guy's a good artist. He's a pretty damn good cartoonist. But really not that funny. This one is one of the ones that it's so gross. Like, it was just like, oh man. But it's still not that funny. Tonic McNulty, that was another regular one by this guy named Gerbil. No, I guess this was the breakout hit of this comic, the McBam Brothers. And they're almost like the Freak Brothers, except being into drugs and being hippies. These guys are just in a stupid, mindless violence and drinking beer and just basically being punters, as I believe I'm using that term correctly in England. They're just a bunch of yabos, these guys. They're really stupid. They're, like making fun of Scotch people. Is that Scotch? No, Scottish people. And this guy has a great underground comic style. I really like his art. I mean, I wish he was had a better writer. His name's Alexander. That's just his name, one name. And it's just a lot of, mindless violence, potty humor, jokes about getting drunk and, stuff like that. But yeah, check out the art. I mean, he's good. If these were just maybe 20% more funnier, I might have kept these. But here's the Bob Man again. Sometimes I almost think I'm looking at Frank Quitely, but he's obviously not as good. But he has little stylistic flourishes here and there that remind me of him. The Moxies. I like this guy's cartoony style. He looks more like classic Beano Dandy type English funny art. Of course, it's way nastier and adult. And these are total gross out humor. It's just about this filthy family and their poor neighbors have to deal with their shit. But look at this, the griminess, everything looks gross. So I just wish I thought this was funny, because I love this art. This is terrific. Here's some more Bob Man strips. Just a few gag strips. They had these little one-panel gags, all pretty pretty inappropriate. Here's another running character, Helmet Man. And, but this guy named Soam. Once again, very much, this looks like a great Beano Dandy artist who, I don't know, went crazy and became a foul person and then drew comics. Here's another Frank Quitely one, The Greens. Apparently this is the parody of some other famous strip. I've never read it, so I don't know. But, man, I gotta say, in this one, I don't know if he's trying to imitate the style of the other strip, but it looks so old-timey cartoony. Like, I see tons of Winsor McKay in the line work. Just, really nice art. I just can't believe Frank Quitely's so young, and he's this good. And he's never published before this. I think he did, some, I don't know, poster art for local clubs and stuff. He was just some dude who was drawing random stuff. This guy's terrible. It's not funny at all. It's really dumb. And he can't draw. His name's Shug. They have a fake advice page. See, Viz would have more of this kind of stuff. They'd actually even have almost fake Onion type articles. Much dumber humor, but more text pages. This is 1001 Tales of the Shatma Tandoori Restaurant. Once again, pretty nice cartooning. It's so weird. I even see like, I literally see like some Justin Green in here. I see a bunch of good cartoonists that I like. This guy's name is Zing. They all have pen names, these guys. Almost all of them do. Well, actually, yeah, Frank Whiteley. That's a pen name. I never knew this, but it's a play on the phrase "quite frankly." So he became Frank Whiteley. Here's another strip by Shug. He doesn't have to draw human faces, so it looks a little better, but it's really dumb. The Wildebeests. These Wildebeests are in a rock band. Yeah, this is the one, Zing and Jammy, Billy Pope. And this one, I see a lot of Justin Green in here. And I kind of mixed with Bill Griffith. It looks like if those two mashed up. Some more gags. And the back cover is by the Bob Band. I think it's the Bob Band guy. Nope, this is Gerbil, sorry. Yeah, Gerbil's got chops, man. This is a great back cover. But it doesn't make me laugh. We'll take a quick look at this one. Here's the McBam brothers. I kind of like this cover. It's interesting. He's making it look like some action pulp novel. It seems like he's got some chops, doing the color on this. I don't know if it's painted, but, he's pretty talented, this guy. I don't know, though. Electric Soup. It's more like electric poop. Here's Far and Away, that movie with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, but it's Fartin' Away. Okay, that's a good one. But look at him, like, doing the Tom Cruise. Amazing. I mean, I got mad. Should have snatched this guy up. Yeah, most of the jokes are pretty dumb. But yeah, this art is amazing. I almost want to keep it just for this early Frank Whiteley art. I don't think it'll ever be reprinted. But I also want to sell it for at least a nice chunk of change. Tonic McNulty again. I think everything's the same from the first one, the Wildebeests. This one's even stupider. Capital Cabs. More Helmet Man. Continuing the McBam brothers. Escape from Euro Dismal. I guess it's like Euro Disney. This guy. Fuck. Terrible. Some more Bob Man, little gag strips. Billy Pope again. I guess his shtick is that he's a bigot. That's where all the humor is derived from. But great cartooning. That Soam guy. Here's some Frank Whiteley gags panels. Like, look at this. I like your tank top. And this guy's sweater is kind of turning into a tank turret. The Olympic pole vault. And the Pope's inside of a vault. Oy. Mr. Mutant. He was in that other one. More Billy Pope. Oh, and here's the Greens again. Get to check out some nice Frank Whiteley art. So I figured I'll have this video documentation of this comic. So I'll feel better about selling it. Because I don't know if I'm still alive in 25 years. If I regret not being able to look at this comic again. Just look at my video. And get a taste of it. Terrific stuff. Amazing. I mean, the art, the writing's terrible. Here's more of the McBam brothers. Hey, look when he draws straight. This guy's got chops. And I like when he doesn't draw straight because it's just got this great underground energy to it. Here's some more gag strips. And that's it for the 2 issues of Electric Soup I have. Oh, there's that cartoonist I like, Soam. So what is that? Electric Soup, 14 and 15. So I have an email in my comments section, or in the notes. I think anyone interested, contact me. So this is the one that I'm still debating. I know you're going to think I'm crazy. So I got these at a comic sale. Here, I'm going to do the little zoom in a little. If I can do this without taking too long. So I got a Mad number 44. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do 43 first. Let's do them in order. And it was half off. It was like $5. And I was so happy. I was like, wow. I flipped through it. There's tons of Wally Wood in here. Beautiful cover by Frank Kelly Freese. But it was kind of shocking. You know, I have all the early Mads by Kurtzman reprints, of course. I've got a few collections that have a few things from Mads, you know, like their greatest hits. But just seeing a normal Al Feldstein issue, edited issue, I should say, they're just not funny. These are, maybe when I was 13, I would have loved this. Look at this beautiful art. This is why I still haven't sold these. I bought them like a year ago. I have them in my for sale pile, but then I keep taking them out of this for sale pile and telling myself, I can't sell these. They're just, look at this. It's a beautifully designed magazine, just all around. But, man, it's like, I don't want to ever have to read it again. It's really ponderous, the jokes. George Woodbridge, when he was young. Already great. Letter pages. Oh, I was like, oh, this is going to be so good. The end of comics, and Wally Wood draws the whole thing. And it's parodying all the famous comic strips. Showing you the last episode of every one. Pogo and his animal friends get kicked out of the swamp because they're going to build the government is going to build a radar station. And Lothar basically betrays Mandrake. God, look how good Wally Wood is at mimicking everything. He's such a talented guy. Dick Tracy reveals that he's become a corrupt cop, or wants to become a criminal now, where the money is. So he gets, his superior shoots him. Mary Worth. Little Abner. I like this. Mary Worth gets arrested for not paying back taxes. Henry. Oh, this is Bob Clark. I don't think he drew this slick later on. He just had that nice cartoony style, but this is just nice graphics he's doing here. Duotone, all the shading. I mean, no wonder the mad artist got paid like 3 times as much as the normal comic artist. They earned it. Joe Orlando, when he was still drawing strips for Mad. But I would just wish he was funny. Look at this Don Martin. doing a more long-form strip. Man, I really do like Don Martin's art, especially when he was younger. It was even better. I think it got just too wacky. I mean, I still loved it when I was a kid, but I really like this cartooning. If Hollywood directors staged advertising photos, and this is really nice Wally Wood, just Wally Wood really going to town, drawing the slick art. So it's showing how, like, Alfred Hitchcock would stage an automobile ad. God, Wood was so good. He was an article about supermarkets, which were kind of new then. Some observational humor for you. Yeah, here's the supermarket of the future, where you'll need little scooters to drive around because it's so big. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention, I think, yeah, this is Dave Berg. Dave Berg could actually draw okay back then. That's some slick illustration. Oh, those health chairs. Just imagine all the humor you could wrangle out of that concept. Some more Bob Clark art. Thinking about Halloween by Mort Drucker. Yeah, I think Mort Drucker definitely got better too. Though I guess he's drawing more cartoony here than he normally does. He's not doing caricatures of famous people, so it looks different, but it looks great. More Bob Clark. Man, he dominated the magazine then. The New Baby. And this is weird. They got Danny Kaye. They adapted some of his comedy bits. Wally Wood did the art. Really nice art. Except for some reason, the way he draws Danny Kaye. I mean, Danny Kaye kind of looked like that. But it's really annoying to me. I know it's stupid, but man, just amazing wood art. So good. Coming musicals. Oh, I mean, this is how they can run something into the ground. So I guess it was a trend in the 50s. Broadway musicals were based on books, on famous books. So they're like, what if this continues? And this musical is based on the Manhattan Telephone Directory. This is based on the Union Pacific timetable for trains. And then they just run each joke into the ground. Like, all the song titles are just dumb puns. Eek. Look at this early Don Martin. So different. The feet don't bend yet. At right angles. They got Bob and Ray, the great comedians of the 50s, to do a comedy thing, to write it. And Mort Drucker draws it beautifully. See, this is more like the Mort Drucker we know. You know, he's caricaturing famous celebrities. Man, look at that. Some amazing stuff. Oh, making fun of guys with metalworking guys. Hilarious. But impeccable graphics. It's beautiful. Bob Clark again, man. Here's another George Woodbridge. looking much more like how I remember him when I was a kid. Really nice illustration. Wood lore. A guide to dangers hunters should avoid in the forest. And here we have another Danny Kaye, Wally Wood collaboration. Not funny. Oh my God, look at how beautiful that is. I think this might be Frank Kelly Freese. I don't see a signature. But it's almost like once Bill Elder left to run off with Harvey Kurtzman. Oh, it's Kelly Freese. Kelly Freese did all the really fancy painted covers and the parody ads that almost trick you into thinking it's a real ad for a product. So here's Mad 44, Christmas issue. Look at this shit. Kelly Freese. It's fucking amazing. I wish it was in color. More letters. And this is a funny article about how coming attractions don't always show exactly what's coming in the movies. The movies are never as good as the coming attractions. More Wally Wood, though. These are really extreme caricatures. Ponderous, fucking ponderous. I start reading like the first panel and I'm just like, oh, I remember this one. This was boring as hell. It's just sad. They're just boring. They might have a good concept, and whatever they do, they go too far with it. International advertising. This one, I guess I did kind of like. Not that it's written funny, but the idea is it's like a Charles Atlas ad. But it's basically saying, oh, all you little pipsqueak countries in the UN, take our country building course. We'll sell you all the armaments you want so you can be a big shot in your part of the world. It's funny because it's true. Fidel Castro's Cuban health camp. Here's a nice Mort Drucker one. A nice long piece of making fun of telethons. And these pages are a little brittle. This one could have been so funny. This is Wally Wood, more beautiful Wally Wood art. And they're junior versions of magazines like Tiny Homes and Gardens, Sports Infantile. They're just not funny, but so nice to look at. More Don Martin. Another George Woodbridge article. Pretty nice. This magazine makes me wish I was illiterate. Alfred E. Newman's Family Tree by Wallace Wood. This is so Wallace Wood. Look at this. Oh, he's got to draw all the stuff. But then he's going to make this beautiful lush foliage on the family tree that probably took him, made this assignment take twice as long. He couldn't stop himself from being, just a great artist. It looks so good. But it's just not funny. The weird thing is about these Mads is like, I probably showed off things that are like technically way worse than this, like with crappier art and just as dumb. But there's their dumbness is funny or it's entertaining. And this is such a high-paying magazine, high circulation. People loved Mad, and it looks great. But just the fact that I never want to read these stories again. I mean, I kind of do. That's why I still don't know if I'm getting rid of these. It's still going to be in this little shelf of like, I'm not sure. Because I do like looking at the art. It's very impressive what a beautiful magazine it was. Custom-made Christmas cards by Bob Clark. Hold on a second. How to read graphs. This looks like a Jonathan Hickman comic. Another Joe Orlando. Ugh. What a dumb gag. This one I don't see a signature. Oh, here we go. George Woodbridge again. They really had a smaller handful of artists drawing everything back then. It's pretty much like 4 or 5 guys doing everything. Another Bob and Ray one with more trucker art. We've got a Joe Orlando. It's pretty slick. Yeah, look at this. It's chops. It's all about the Wiebelfetzer, which was something that I thought Harvey Kurtzman created that whole idea, which is pretty lame that once Harvey Kurtzman left, they were still like cannibalizing his ideas. More Don Martin. Man, what a style that guy had. So that's it for Mad 44 and 45. Like I said, I don't know if they'll be kicked out of the Academy necessarily. I'm definitely leaning to saying yes. But then part of me knows I'm going to regret it one day or thinks I will. But then again, maybe I get this video and that'll satisfy me. Okay, let's shrink down a little bit more, or zoom in a little bit more, I should say. Sorry, give me one sec. This was an interesting comic. It's just one of those comics. I don't know where I got it. Probably in a 50 cent or 25 cent bin back in the 90s. And this political cartoonist, Tim Egan, who I guess is a very successful, that's his career, has been as a political cartoonist. But I guess he wanted to make a real comic. And he self-published these All Night Comics 1 and 2. The cartooning's pretty nice. Kind of smart, clever writing. And it's just, I reread them this week for the first time in years. Actually, this might have been a couple weeks ago. See, it looks like a political cartoon. And it's basically about this reporter who always seems to get involved with, not paranormal, but like, well, yeah, paranormal. Almost like all these crazy conspiracies, Atlantis, UFOs. And he's this reporter. And a lot of his thought balloons and his dialogue, it's kind of sharp and clever. Not always, but he's a pretty good writer. But when all is said and done, I was just like, that was pretty good, but do I really need this to ever read this again? And this doesn't even have that great art to make me consider keeping it. It's not bad. I think he's a pretty good cartoonist. And I've seen him, looked him up on the internet now. He's gotten way better. He was pretty young when he put these out. I would love to, in the comments below, if anyone's ever even heard of this. I've never heard about it anywhere. I mean, now there's the internet. I bought these before the internet. And, of course, now I can look him up. And that's how I found out Tim Egan was a political cartoonist. I didn't know who he was for 20 years now. But I was surprised that some unknown dude put out this pretty accomplished full-page comic book. All by himself. And it's pretty well done. I mean, it definitely tells a good story. It's not like comics from the black and white boom where there'd just be this, like, masturbation fantasies of 15-year-old boys on paper, you know, just like utter dreck, almost unreadable. So I don't know. I was debating a little. I was like, well, Greg, it's a decent comic. But, you know, if I had a warehouse, if the Herculespetix Academy was the size of the Smithsonian, I'd keep it. I'd be like, somebody one day might find this interesting. But I just can't do that. I can't afford to do that. I do like that little plot point. These Atlanteans, they're like New Age Atlanteans. And they're preaching love and brotherhood. And they're so good at it, they even have a mongoose make it out with a cobra instead of killing each other. Yeah, this one's more fantastical. It's Atlantis and such. But once again, just pretty decent, nice cartooning. It's pretty cleverly written. He's no dummy, this guy. I'm not going to show you every page. You get the idea. And now, this one I was very saddened about because I thought I loved these. I remember thinking the story was wicked cool. And this is La Pacifica, which was one of the Paradox. Hold on a second. Too much. One of those, the Paradox graphic novels from DC, the line of mystery comics. In fact, a couple months ago, I showed off Family Man. That was the second one. This was the very first one. They're doing this format of 3 little volumes that tell one story. This is written by Joel Rose and Amos Poe. Joel Rose, I guess, was a novelist of some fame. Amos Poe was a director, writer of films. And they say his big movie was Alphabet City, which I don't even know if I might have seen that. I don't know. It's a very generic title. The art's by Tayyar Ozcan, the Armenian artist the Anatolian artist who did a lot of stuff for World War III Illustrated, for heavy metal. He did a lot of different stuff, especially in Europe. I guess he was more famous there. He did like full-on porno stuff for Eros Comics. A lot of political stuff. He started as a political cartoonist. There's a weird story behind how I got these. In the 90s, I worked in a coffee house. And for like a month or two, that actor, Stephen Baldwin, one of the Baldwin brothers, was coming in all the time. I guess he was filming a movie in the area. And I remember he was just like, he was a really charming, nice guy, but he would just be flirting with all the young sorority-type girls who'd come into our cafe. And I don't know, I guess I just would chat with him every day as I served him his coffee or made him his latte. And I mentioned how I like comic books. And he said, oh, you know, a bunch of my buddies wrote a comic book. And it's pretty good. I don't think he knew comics at all. But I assume he knew Amos Poe. Maybe he was in one of his movies. So the next day, he brought him in for me. Said, here you go. You know, I'm not a collector. I read it. It was good. but maybe you'll like it. So that's why I own this. And this is it's not bad at all. It's kind of an interesting story, and as you can see, Taylor Ozken, his art is definitely, he's got chops. I don't find his art that exciting, though. It's a little pedestrian. But, man, can he illustrate the shit out of it? Anything he wants to, you know? Basically, the plot is roughly, there's this, like all these strange, violent occurrences, usually involving men. And it seems like all the men who go on these killing sprees, they all dated the same woman. She's almost like a black widow. I don't know if she has a pheromonal imbalance or something, but she just drives guys crazy. And they end up not being able to say goodbye to her when she dumps them, and they go nuts. But it's more of the same. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, if I had the space, this wouldn't, shit up my collection. It wouldn't be bad to have. And, but I don't have all that room. So I reread this like a few months ago. This was the first time I read a comic and said, ooh, I'm not going to do a video on this because it's not in the Academy anymore. I'm kicking it out. Yeah, his art's really nice. But I'm just, I don't know if... It was just very unsatisfying when I read it. It's all well written. It's not like, oh, God, this is so crappily written and so boring. But at the end, I was like, that's it? Really? I don't know. So, I'm going to get rid of them. Like I said, if anyone's interested, make me an offer. Send me an email. And I'm not going to accept chump change for these. Not that they're worth a lot. Just that I'm lazy and I don't want to go to the post office for $2 or something. I looked up the electric soups with Frank Whiteley art. Couldn't find them. Couldn't find a price for any of them. Even on like Amazon, they're like, no, we have no history of ever selling that item. So I don't know if it's super rare. Somebody would love it. I guess a Frank Whiteley completist. God, I'm so terrible. Just looking through these, part of me is like, maybe I shouldn't sell them. They're not so bad. But I can't afford to be like that. I'm running out of room on my shelves. And almost everything I have has been weeded through many times, has gone through many stringent reviews. And I don't think I can get rid of a lot of the stuff I have. Like, it's way too good, at least to me. Oh, yeah, here's that femme fatale woman. She's quite gorgeous. That's what guys go crazy for. She also just seems to have that psychological thing where she knows exactly what men want to hear and what makes them fall in love. I guess there's a lot of movies and books like that where, yeah, it's pretty damn good, but they just didn't really know how to end it well. Endings are hard in fiction. Yeah, I'll just flip through the rest. I think you've seen enough. There's the last page. Poor sucker never had a chance. Who knows? Maybe nobody will want to buy these anyway, and I'll just end up holding on to it. I can always find room somewhere. So, let's make a little stack here. So remember, these are all for sale if you want them. Or you could just drive down to Portland so I don't have to go to the post office box. Yeah, if you drive down to Portland, I'll probably give them to you. As long as you subscribe. That's all I ask. So hope, excuse me, hope you enjoyed this episode. Kind of a weird one. But I figure and this video is basically for me. I'm documenting these. So when I do get rid of them, if I ever regret it a little, I can be like, oh, I can at least check it out on the Wayback Machine. So there you have it. Some very rare Frank Quietly art. Incredibly beautiful magazines that I never want to read again. And some interesting, decent comics. But I just don't got the room. So I hope you liked it. And I guess I'll probably end up doing one of these every 6 months to a year, because I'm sure I'll find some other stuff. And to be honest, I really want to find other stuff because I'm running out of room. And I don't want to have to make really hard choices down the line. Hopefully I can get rid of this stuff that doesn't throw me enough of it, that I'll have plenty of room. Okay, guys, that's it. And I'll see you soon here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.